So a staple in American animation is finally getting a live-action adaptation on Netflix. But in a recent article, it's starting to make us rethink whether or not this is a good idea. So recently, a brand new Avatar trailer dropped. Oh, Avatar the Last Airbender trailer dropped on Netflix.
Before you get a little confusion.
Right. But I'm not gonna lie to you, it was gonna fire, bro.
Man, that was gas.
Look, I don't want to say too much yet because the show didn't drop yet, but from what I saw from the trailer, even though visually it might look the part, I'm hoping thematically and story-wise, it still plays out properly. And the reason why I say this is because in a recent Variety headline, it said, Netflix's live-action Avatar the Last Airbender series is toning down the sexism. We took out the element of how sexist Sokka was. I feel like there was a lot of moments in the original show that were iffy, says Quilentino Katara. Yeah, totally, Sokka said. There are things that were redirected just because it might play a little differently in live action. I'm all for changing stuff up because the live action is not going to translate well from animated.
I get what he's saying.
Yeah.
People like to complain. We can't sit here and act like it wouldn't be an issue. But if he didn't express that he has a problem with it, people would have a problem with it.
In the article itself, it actually links to an actual Reddit thread of Sokka's misogynistic moments. So the title of the Reddit thread is, considering how misogynistic Sokka was in the first few episodes of Avatar the Last Airbender, it's quite funny to think he won over the hearts of some of the most powerful women in the series. Welcome to another episode of Kaylex Encounter, and if you've been here before, I started rewatching the show. Before this article even dropped, I'm not gonna lie, even I was like, okay, he's tweaking.
Knew I should have left you home. Leave it to a girl to screw things up. Who are you? Where are the men who ambushed us?
There were no men.
Wait a second, there's no way a bunch of girls took us down.
Even though it was only 10 years ago, that was a completely different time period. And the reason why we kind of allow that is because it was part of his character development. People are genuinely agreeing with one another that this is actually a pretty bad choice.
Yep, make that man sexist.
Sokka being humbled by a tribe of badass women was one of the best early episodes. What is he supposed to do now?
Hold on, that kind of makes me think like the whole Go Woke crew will come after that.
Okay.
Because it's strong women. Now, I'm actually curious because they took out his sexist undertones, and in the show, he was, I don't want to say converted, but he was taught a lesson.
Yeah.
But now, say for instance, they took out the sexist undertones in the live action. They're still gonna keep him in a dress and have him go through that thing. Regardless, I feel like the Go Woke crew will have an issue.
That was literally a part of his character arc. And that's my point on, I think that we're forgetting that when you're writing, it's okay to have, I'm not even gonna say it's a character flaw, but it's okay to have dislikable stuff about a character that you should be rooting for. He's a protagonist in it, but he has some ideas that you might not agree with. That is the reason why we would stick around for a TV show. Ironic as it is, you immediately make Sokka a less interesting character to watch by stripping away the sexism. It's an intentional character flaw that the show acknowledges. Sokka literally gets called out for being sexist minutes into the first episode. It's meant to be that way.
Bring me the sexism.
We should keep character flaws or like unlikable character traits. We should be keeping that instead of trying to sanitize that.
Trying to make everybody, feel me?
Yeah, because that's not fun. Yo, remember when we addressed in the Echo episode of the issue is not anti-heroes, it's just bad writing? As we're talking about this, I realized that's probably why the anti-hero took up a bigger role. The anti-hero is starting to make up a bigger role because people are afraid of actually having the hero that is also the titular character have actual character flaws and ideas.
That's why a lot of people don't like Superman. They think
because he's too perfect.
Which isn't the case, bros. He is a flawed character, but
definitely. Somebody else said Netflix's Avatar the Last Airbender live action removing Soka sexism is bad writing. People are not always perfectly woke. Sokka is a product of the Water Tribe. They have sexist ideals too, and watching him grow from it after seeing the world is necessary to his arc.
I'm glad you brought that up, because Master Paku, sexist as a motherfucker, did not want to train Katara. He said, no, you're a woman!
Started tweaking on her.
But yeah, he didn't want to train her for that specific reason, but obviously by the end of the story, he ends up training her. She ends up becoming badass, he ends up liking her. And now it scares me, because what if they take that out also? That's a major thing.
Because you also gotta remember, this also takes place so far into the past that it's like, obviously ideas are different. there are still people that have those traditional ideas. And honestly, it slips through even for me and a lot of other people. But it's like, that doesn't make you a bad person. There's certain things that you kind of just grew up with that you do have to unlearn. And that's part of what Sokka has to go through. So now what I'm wondering is, the original creators of the Avatar animated series dropped out of the Netflix adaptation. Do you think this could be one of the reasons as to why they dropped out?
That may be a reason. And I also heard that they're changing, because in the TV show, all 3 seasons take place within the span of 1 calendar year. And they're changing that so, because, you know, actors age. Obviously you can't have this girl playing a 12-year-old girl 6-7 years down the line.
Right.
So obviously they got to take into account for the fact that they age. So they said they're going to span it out into, say, 2 to 3 years. Me personally, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But they are changing things from the show, so I can understand if those are some of the reasons why the original creators have left. But also, the original creators left not only because of that, but because they also went off and started Avatar Studios. I don't know if you know about Avatar Studios.
I think I vaguely heard something about that.
Heard something about that, right? We've been talking about it for the last 3 or 4 years, but they've done nothing with it. I'm not talking shit or anything, but it has been a while and nothing's come out of it.
Right,
you know?
right.
Except maybe some concept art, but that's like, come on now.
Hey man, so look, I'm still looking forward to the TV show that's coming out this February.
This February.
And look, if you guys like this video, click the subscribe button, hit the like button, because by the end of February, we will have our Avatar review out. So if you want to see some more of us, you feel me? Stick around a little bit, and we'll see you in the next encounter.
Peace.